Hello and welcome to this tutorial video on how to create a pivot table in Excel. In this video, we'll walk through the process of creating a pivot table from a sample dataset. Just by way of definition, pivot tables are a powerful tool that allows you to summarize, rearrange, group and analyze large amounts of data quickly and easily through the use of a software, in our case, Excel. Here, we have a sample dataset with information about a group of students in an after-school program. The dataset includes fields such as the participant ID, their name, their enrollment year, province, their gender, age at enrollment, and so forth. To create a pivot table in Excel, we need to first select the dataset that we want to use. So in our case, we'll select every data point from participant ID up to column Q, which is the professional pathway. Once we have done that, we can now create a pivot table by clicking on Insert and then Pivot Table. This will open the Create Pivot Table dialog box. Here, we will select the range of the cells that we want to use for our pivot table and choose where we want to create the pivot table. Let's create a pivot table in a new worksheet. Once we click OK, Excel will create a blank pivot table for us. On the right side of the screen, we will see the pivot table fields pane. This is where we will choose the fields we want to include in our pivot table. So now let us suppose we are interested in the gender distribution or the number of male and female students enrolled in the program. We accomplish this by dragging the gender field into the rows section in the navigation pane. Once we identify where gender is, we drag it as can be illustrated there. This will tell us how many categories our data contains. Basically, as you can see here now, we know that in this field we have females, we have males, we have also non-binary, but we do not know the exact number each of these categories contains. To generate this, we must drag and drop the unique identifier field into the values column of the navigation pane. So we look for the unique identifier. In this case, it's illustrated as the participant ID. We drag it into the values fields, and there we go. We have 23 females, 26 males, and 4 non-binary students. Please note that we have also the option to drag the gender field into the values section, and we know the distribution of learners by their gender. However, we opted to use the unique identifier or the participant ID field. In some cases where we may suspect that our data may contain duplicates, it is important that whatever analysis we do, we avoid double counting or including duplicates. In our case, the idea was that we know the gender distribution based on the distinct count of learners using their participant ID. We know the participant ID is supposed to be unique for every learner. There are also several other possibilities we may explore with Excel's pivot options and ensure that our data is sufficiently summarized. For example, we may then determine, in addition to what we have, that we want to summarize our data using percentages. To do so, we simply drag the participant ID into the values field of our Excel pivot option, and this time around we then proceed to our pivot table, and from anywhere within the pivot table we right click, and then this will show us a context menu which we will navigate through to show values as, and because we want to summarize our value as percentages, we'll rush to select show values as a percentage of the total column. And there we are. It shows us the distribution or the breakdown of the data by the relevant percentages. And as we can see here, the male learners clearly retains the highest percentage of the total number of learners that we have on this program. We also have options to edit and format our table further to meet our needs. For example, we may want to ensure that the labels here on the pivot table are more intuitive. To do this, we click in the header field, any of these fields, and enter the desired changes. For example, here on the row labels, we may want to change this to categories because this describes the categories of gender that we do have. And here on the count of participant ID, we may just want to change it simply to count and keep it short and simple. Here it says count of participant ID to, and we know this, we have changed to a percentage. So we just say percent like this. And we have made changes to our headers field. We may also say maybe these two decimal places are not the most important for you. You just want to know the actual, rounded percentage values you have here. And to do that, you highlight on the values fields, specifically on the percentages here. And from there, you move to your home tab or your home ribbon, and you'll see where it says percentage here. And you have the option either to increase or to decrease the decimals. That is to show fewer decimal places. And we want to show fewer decimal places. So we click here once, and as you can see now, we now have one decimal place. And because we want to show no decimal places, we'll just click again and everything here is summarized. We can even go a bit fancy, and that is explore your formatting options, that is your color options. Yes, Excel allows us to change or manipulate these tables however we feel it's easier for anyone else to read. Like, for example, here we have just changed the color. We might also further explore the design tab here and explore the report layout. Maybe we might show our report as an outline or in tabular form, however makes it easier for users to read. We might also change even the font type or the size of the font. But at this stage, I believe we now have something that is a bit more easy to read, and we'll leave it at that. But really, you can change and manipulate all these fields further just to ensure that the data is adequately and summarized in a way that is easy for anyone else to read. And there you have it. We have successfully created a pivot table in Excel and used it to analyze our sample data. Remember that pivot tables can be a powerful tools for summarizing and analyzing large amounts of data quickly and easily, and can even advance further and show complexity beyond which I've shown you in this example. We can proceed also to creating pivot charts, which I will show you next time in what will be part B of this video. Thank you for watching.